round 10 of the 2020 GP4 OC season takes place here at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix. The 7th time we've been here in Austria since it came back on the calendar in 2014. Of course, this is a crucial race because we're almost at the halfway point of the season, but also because sign-ups are now happening. This is the first race where it's crucial for all the drivers to get good results if they want to try and keep their seats for next season, or to even upgrade to another team, or to simply even stay in the OC. But of course, last round was won by Miguel Lascal, the French Grand Prix output got ahead of Franco Lopez, and well, so it stopped Lopez domination per se, but we'll see if it does continue on here at the Red Bull Ring. Of course, the lap record set by Jose back in 2018. Only 10 corners, 71 laps here at the Red Bull Ring, and Franco Lopez won, of course, this race last season. Previous winners here have included Amar Carr, Joseph Willows, Will Nella, and Florian Volker. So a number of winners here. So can Lopez actually make it 2 in a row here in Austria? The tyres he'll be using for this race will be the soft tyres. And as we go on to have a look at free practice, it was a Mercedes domination in practice. Mercedes 1-2, Red Bull 3-4, Moitin, Chung, Byrne, Willows, Galloway, and Chatfield completing the rest of the top 10. That was of course practice, and now we'll take a look at what happened in qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix. And on the front row, it was Amar Carr who takes pole position with a 103.6, beating Franco Gamba, who is second place, just a tenth behind. On row 2 of the grid, it's Rola Moitin for Racing Point and Laura Chung, a fantastic qualifier from her in 4th position. Row 3, we have Kirosima de Rosa, 5th for McLaren, and Jodric 6th for Racing Point. On row 4, we have David Kupok for AlphaTauri and Joseph Willows 8th for McLaren. And moving on to row 5 of the grid, we had Jake Galloway 9th and Frank Lopez, who did not set a time after having an incident in qualifying and then not getting back out for the rest of the session to do a lap. So that's why he's only down in 10th. On row 6, we have Chris Chatfield for AlphaTauri and Miguel Lascal, not the qualifying he would have wanted, in 12th position. Row 7, we have Evan Byrne for Renault and Roberto Gamba for Ferrari. That is row 7 of the grid. Row 8, we have Andrea Federi and Dudu Kirby for Alfa Romeo and Haas respectively, a better qualifying from Dudu Kirby as well. Daniel Fraser 17th for Haas, Rosetta Martinez 18th for Manor. Moving on to row 10 of the grid, we have Felix Hontai for Williams and Emilio Wilson 20th for Manor. And moving on to the final row of the grid, we have Jamie Griffiths for Williams and Gabriel Gomez last for Alfa Romeo Racing. And as we go into the race, it will be yet again another dry race. That's 10 races and 10 dry races at that. So, and the next round, crucially though, after this is Silverstone. So surely it won't be 11 dry races in a row. You would think not anyway. But we're now on the grid. Amar Carr, who's got a light fuel load, on the front row as the 5 lights are about to go on for the Austrian Grand Prix, and we are underway. And Carr makes a pretty good launch of the line, but Franco Gamba's, well, I thought he made a good launch, but he's dropped a little bit behind, so Carr keeps the lead as they head towards the first corner. Meanwhile, the Ferrari trying to make a move on Gamba into second place there, but it didn't work. That was Laura Chung. She's made a good start. 2 Racing Points, one behind the other. Rogue, I think, has moved up a position, and we've got a crash at the first corner. A number of cars involved. There's a bit of a traffic jam down there. Meanwhile, Joseph Willows trying to get past George Rogue in the Racing Point. He's on the inside. Can he get through? The answer is no. Meanwhile, Lopez is behind, so Lopez has made a great start already, up a few places, but Rosetta Martinez, unfortunately, he is out of the Austrian Grand Prix before he's even got to the first corner. But also, Daniel Fraser, I just saw, is up into 9th place. He's moved up 8 places. What an incredible start. We need to see that from his point of view. But speaking of point of views, we're looking at Martinez to see what happened to him going into the first corner. And so he was down in 18th, and he must have got a hit from behind, or did he go into someone? No, he got a hit from behind, and we're now on board with Felix Hontai. So was he the main person responsible for eliminating Martinez out on the first corner? And looks like it. And yep, there he is, just goes into the back of him there, unfortunately. But meanwhile, we need to look at Daniel Fraser up into the top 10 after the first corner. What an incredible start. And so he got an okay start originally, and just going past his teammate there, Dudu Kirby, and then goes past Roberto Gamba, just the gap opens up and he just absolutely goes for it into the first corner. Absolutely fantastic, and just gets past Kupok there in the AlphaTauri and moves up into 9th position. So what a start that is for Daniel Fraser, although he has got heavy fuel though, which might affect him, but still, that's exactly the start that he would have wanted. Of course, Fraser, one of the drivers who has not yet scored a point this season. Meanwhile, this is Miguel Lascal trying to get his way up the order. He's trying to go past David Kupok into the first corner. Meanwhile, I think that's Willows trying to get past Roke. No, sorry, that's De Rossa trying to get past Roke into turn 1 there. Meanwhile, Gal does get past Kupok. And now the McLaren of De Rossa under pressure from Fraser and also from Jake Galloway. That is the battle for 10th place here. And there's De Rossa trying to get through, and so is Gal defending now from Byrne, as Galloway was just in front of him there. So it's all happening. Of course, this is one of the shortest. This is the shortest track on the calendar in terms of lap time. There's plenty of overtaking opportunities. It's a basic track, and that's what you need really. Just a simple layout. None of this Saudi Arabia layout nonsense, anything like that. But meanwhile, Carr is absolutely clear up front. He's got a 2-second gap over Gamma, who's about a second clear of Chung. Moichin's a little bit behind. Willows in 5th. He's made a good start actually. Meanwhile, this is Franco Lopez, who's already making his way up the order, though. He's already up, well, if he gets past Willows, he'll be up 5 places in just 2 laps, as Carr sets the fastest lap of the race for 104.1. So Lopez was unable to make it through there, but he'll have many more opportunities to do so. Would he have a go into turn 1? Is he close enough? Willows just moves slightly to the inside, so Lopez doesn't bother making a move there. Meanwhile, Gal now going past Daniel Fraser for 10th place. Is he through? And the answer is yes, he's up into 10th. Meanwhile, Byrne having a battle there with, I think that's Andrea Federi, and Chris Chatfield, they're involved in it as well. And Chatfield, is he going to try and sneak past Federi here? No, is the answer to that question. And Kupok now involved as well, and ooh, I thought there was going to be contact there, but Byrne under pressure from both AlphaTauris and an Alfa Romeo, so lots of Alphas involved in that one. So as we look through, there's Roberto Gamma down in 16th position. He was caught up a little bit actually on the first lap, that's why he's so far down. Laura Chung made a good start. As Moichin looking at the fuel-wise, Willows has got a fair bit of fuel. Lopez has got similar to Willows, I think it was slightly less, but so it looks like it'll be a 2-stop. But Lopez looks pretty quick so far. He's going to once again try into turn 9. Is he quite enough on the inside? And the answer is no, he isn't, so he has to wait again. But he's a lot closer this time coming through the final corner. Surely he's going to have a go into turn 1, or is he? Is he quite close enough? I think he's just about the slipstream, but I think the corner's just coming up a little bit too quickly. You can see him gaining, but it's not going to be enough. So Lopez is going to have to wait. Willows takes a slightly defensive line into the first corner. So Lopez is going to have to try once again coming in towards turn 2. And he's going to try and go around the outside bit here, which is not going to work unless he swaps to the inside, which he might do. So this could be the move for Lopez. Would he go for it? And the answer is no, he doesn't. That could allow Roke to close up behind. Meanwhile, De Rossa battling with Galloway for 8th. Byrne battling over Roberto Gamba there as Chatfield makes a little bit of contact there with the back of the Alfa Romeo. But this is Byrne actually. So he was in 12th, but he actually lost position. So he went wide, lost position to Kupok and to Chatfield and to Federi as well, so losing 3 places in one corner there. Meanwhile, we're looking at Amakar, who's got a very, very easy lead up front. Meanwhile, Lopez once again trying on Willows. Surely is this the move? And the answer is, I believe it is, unless Willows can hold it. And no, he can't. So Lopez finally gets through past Willows and can now go after the cars in front of him, i.e. those cars are Moichin and Chung. But Willows might even try and get the position back here. He's got a good run in the slipstream. Will he go for the move? He tries. Lopez goes quite defensive again. Meanwhile, we're looking now at Jake Galloway battling with the other McLaren, De Rossa. This has been going on for since the start of the race for 8th. And Galloway is now finally through up the inside and passes De Rossa for 8th place there. Now that's going to allow Miklos Gal to close up and possibly make a move coming in towards turn 2. If he can get on the inside, he's in the slipstream. He's going to go for it. De Rossa is going to defend, and he defends hard, so Gal is not able to get through, almost going into the back of De Rossa into the corner there. Looking at Laura Chung at the moment, running in a solid 3rd position, and she's got light fuel, but it is probably going to be a 2-stop. A 3-stop around here, I mean, it would be tough to see if it works on 3-stop because the track is short, so you're bound to get involved in traffic at some point. But at the moment she's doing a good job in 3rd. She's actually extending the gap to Moichin now nearly 2 seconds, but of course crucially now Lopez is going to be right behind Moichin, so we could see Lopez moving up into the top 4 already by the end of, within 10 laps. He's already right behind Moichin off the final corner. He's going to go on the inside. This is going to be, I think, a pretty easy move. He can get this done. And yep, just like that, he gets through. Meanwhile, Jake Galloway is actually passed Roke for P7 as well. So Galloway's actually making some moves up the order. You can see Galloway's now in front, just at the back of the screen right there. So that is good for him. And for Lopez especially, it's good because he's getting up the order. He's obviously very quick. Meanwhile, looking at Franco Camera at the moment, running in 2nd place. Scott, it's going to be definitely a 2-stop fuel-wise for him. But look at the gap actually to Carr up front, almost 10 seconds. So Carr is just blitzing the field right now, although Lopez is trying to come into it. Needs to close up on the top guys, though, as we're looking at Willow's in 6th place, doing a solid job, but Jake Galloway is coming close to him, because I think actually Willow's made a slight mistake into that previous corner, and yet the gap that was 1.3 seconds, he lost 8 tenths there, so Galloway could even, if he's just a little bit closer, could even make a move, possibly into turn 1. He's just about in the slipstream of Willow's, but I'm not sure if he's quite close enough, but he's, thanks to that little mistake that Willow's made. Galloway's right onto him, and oh, yep, never mind, Galloway's going to try it on the inside. There's a little bit of contact there, but Willow's just about managed to hold the position, but this battle is now going to start to go on. How long can Willow's hold off Galloway, who's pretty quick? He's got light fuel, explains why he's so quick, and Galloway is not able to make the move into turn 2. Willow's defends, but will he be able to do it into turn 3? If he can get a good enough exit, Willow's gets a pretty good run off the corner there, so I think he might have to wait a little bit more, Galloway, before he makes the move. We're looking at Evan Byrne, who's getting a little bit out of shape. There's a little bit of a lock-up here. He's struggling at this point in the race, and so now obviously with Galloway and Willow's battling, this could allow George Roke to get back at them, but Roke has got a lot of fuel. He's got actually a hell of a lot of fuel, so it looks like Roke and Racing Point are definitely going to go for him, at least on the one stop. We'll see if that will work out for him or not. But meanwhile, Willow's under pressure from Galloway. He's on the inside. Is Galloway through? I believe he is, and yes, he is through. He now moves up into 6th, so Willow's down to 7th, and so Galloway's on a mission right now. He's very quick at this moment in time, but it looks like he is going to be on the 3 stop as we look on board with Willow's heading towards the first corner. He's still behind Galloway. He takes a little bit of an unusual line there, so if he can stay close enough, he could get a run on Galloway, but I think Galloway is just about too far in front now, although Willow's, I think, is he just about hanging in the slipstream? Maybe not quite. Meanwhile, Carr's lead is now over 11 seconds out front. He is dominating this race so far. Only been 11 laps in, and he's 11 seconds clear. Fideri, meanwhile, trying it there, and oh, look at that, Lopez was already caught up to Laura Chung and passed her. Look how quick that was. So Lopez is really, really on a mission here. And you think, just imagine if he didn't start in 10th place, he probably would have been leading the race by now. He just seems that quick. But he's still got a long way to go. The race win for him is certainly not out of the question if he's continuing on at this pace. Gal once again trying on De Rossa, still unable to get past him though. There was nearly a bit of contact. Fortunately, they avoided it. Meanwhile, Fideri goes past Kupok. And now Gal once again will try on De Rossa, who defends, although Gal's going to go to the inside, but De Rossa once again defends. So it's just not happening for him right now, but Lopez does seem very quick. The gap to Frank Cam in front, 3 seconds, but if Lopez can keep up this pace, that will be, well, nothing in probably about 2-3 laps time. So we'll see how quickly Lopez can close down Frank Cam. I wonder if they'll show a gap coming through the sector or not. Sure, it's down to 2.8, so yet the gap is certainly coming down. So I wonder how long it will be for Lopez to close up to the back of Frank Cam. Meanwhile, Romoichin under pressure from the Renault here, trying to make a move on the inside. Is Jake Galloway on Romoichin? He's unable to do it there. But as we're looking at Galloway coming down the front straight on the inside of Moichin, this is going to be a pretty easy move, I think. And Galloway is through now up into P5, having another great race. Of course, he had that one win earlier on the season in China, which took everyone just completely by surprise. In just, I think, what was it, his 3rd race it was, and no one expected it at all. Meanwhile, you can see Lopez again is just eking closer to Gamba. The gap now down, getting 2 tenths on him in that sector. Meanwhile, Byrne, who actually is struggling, and the reason why he's struggling is because Light Roke's got heavy fuel. Meanwhile, Jamie Griffiths, who is pitting very early, I think he was involved on the first lap actually, but he's gained quite quickly, so and you can see why, because he has low fuel. But meanwhile, we're looking at Sontag, who's trying to battle with Gomez for 19th. There's nearly contact coming in the first corner, and already Carr is coming up to lap these guys, so they need to be careful, I suppose, that Carr doesn't get involved in this. Sontag once again trying it on the inside of Gomez. Is he going to do it? And oh, there's a bit of contact, and Sontag knocks Gomez off there. And he oh, that was close. He almost comes back onto the track and takes out the leader Carr. Just imagine if that had happened right there. That was very, very close. But if he didn't steer to the left there, Gomez, then there would have been a crash. Fortunately, there wasn't. Meanwhile, oh, Kirby has got a problem. So Griffiths was in for a scheduled stop, but meanwhile Kirby has a mechanical failure, so he is in. So he'll be pretty disappointed with that, that's for sure, as Carr now already lapping Sontag in 19th position. He might even lap Kirby, who's just come into the pits. But yeah, unfortunately for Dudu Kirby, not been his season. I mean, he's not done badly per se, but he's just kind of been there for the sake of being there. Not done anything particularly special. As we're looking, of course, at car whose lead is now 15 seconds. I mean, it's nearly coming close to pit stop range, well, ish. But because I'm in the pit lane here, it's not particularly long. And there actually is Griffiths, who just comes out, I think, behind Sontag there. After his stop, he probably would have ideally hoped he'd be ahead of him, really. But he'll certainly get past him pretty quickly, because of course Griffiths is a lot quicker than Sontag at this point in the race. Meanwhile, there is Lopez, who is very, very slowly getting on to the back of Gamba. The gap is not too far now. It's only just over a second. Probably, yeah, I mean, probably even less than that in next half of the lap. We're looking at Griffiths, who is going to have a go at Sontag, you would think, pretty soon. You can see how much he's gaining through the double left-hander here. He's now in the slipstream of his teammate, his German teammate here, and Griffiths will surely make the move on the inside of Sontag here, and Griffiths is going to go for it, is he? Yes, he's going to move to the inside, and he's on the inside, Griffiths, but he can't quite make it stick, but he'll try it into the first corner, I think, because he's still in the slipstream of Sontag, and he's going to go for it surely. In the slipstream he is, and he's going to make a move to the inside, which he does. Sontag doesn't really put up any defence. Is Griffiths enough alongside? And the answer is, well, Sontag goes a little bit wide, so Griffiths now does take the position. But unfortunately that means that Gomez has now got a good run off the corner and is now in the slipstream of Sontag and could make a move here, so that's not going to work out well for Sontag. Will Gomez make it? He's going to have a go, and he hits the back of Sontag there, and he tries it on the inside but fails, doesn't get the run he wanted, so he stays behind. But meanwhile, Jake Galloway, who's right on the back actually, the pace he's got right on the back of Chung, however, is pitting. Meanwhile, Gal once again trying it on the inside but failing. And meanwhile, Federi trying to get past Fraser, although Fraser goes wide, and Federi says thank you very much and takes the place. So he's now up into 11th, but Gao has still failed to get past De Rossa after all this time. And here's Galloway, who's all over the back of Chung, but of course Chung doesn't need to worry because Galloway's pitting this lap, although she'll need to worry later on in the race, considering how quick Jake Galloway is at the moment. And so here we are looking at the battle for second place between the two Francos, Franco Gamba and Franco Lopez. The gap just 2/10. Will Lopez always going to go for into the penultimate corner? Would he try it? Well, he did somewhat try it, but failed, but he'll surely make a move into the first corner if he sticks behind Franco Gamba. He's just about in the slipstream now as they're coming down the front straight. Lopez absolutely flying, and now he's going to be on the inside, and this should be an easy move. And yep, he's up into second place just like that. And again, just imagine if Lopez hadn't started down in 10th, he would be well, the Mercedes would be so far clear of everyone else. Meanwhile, Jake Galloway is now in for his first stop of the race, and Gamba himself is on a fair bit of fuel, not too much, you'd say. Meanwhile, as I said, Gal once again still struggling to get past De Rossa at this point, and there's nearly contact there as he tried it around the outside there, but as you all know, it doesn't work. And so we look at Willows, who's he's kind of gaining on the back of Moichin. It's still close there. Roke's still doing his own thing. He's on the one stop, so he's not exactly going to have a lot of pace thus far. But we'll see what it will be like when he pits. I suppose in Baku he finished 5th, despite the fact that he was, I think, what was it, the 5th slowest car on track, and he still finished 5th. So it was some result there. Meanwhile, Lopez going past some traffic there, heading towards the final couple of corners, already getting a second over Franco Gamba. I don't know what the gap is actually between Lopez and Carr, but it's probably nearly 20 seconds, I think. But meanwhile, De Rossa and Gal once again, is this the move for Gal? Surely he's on the inside here, and no, he still can't do it. He still can't get past De Rossa, so this is going to go on for a long time, it seems. Meanwhile, Moich taking a little bit of unusual lines. Gal is once again trying on the inside of De Rossa. Will he finally make the move stick this time? And yes, will he? No, De Rossa I think goes a bit wide, so I think Gal finally will make it up into 8th place. Meanwhile, Willow's on the back of Moichin for 5th. And they make contact, and well, they keep it on track there. Meanwhile, Amar Kar is in for his first stop of the race on lap 17. So I'm not sure if this would be a 3-stop or not, but I suppose that's why Carl was so quick. But obviously Lopez has been equally as quick. So as the two are in the pits, or Carl is in the pits, change all 4 tyres, and yep, that's a pretty quick stop. So Lopez will of course be in front as he's actually lapping traffic here. So he goes by, And so Carl will come out, I think he'll come out actually in third, I think, because I think has Gamba gone past? I think Gamba might just be going past here. Oh, this is going to be close, but no, Gamba is ahead, so I think Carl would have preferred if Gamba was behind you, because then he'd only have Lopez in front of him. But nonetheless, he'll probably get past Gamba pretty easily, you would think. So as you look at Lopez now heading down the back straight here, or one of the heading down the second back straight, as we're looking at Galloway, who's on the inside of Chatfield there, really going for it into the first corner. He really wanted that move, and he got it done past the AlphaTauri. So he's up into 13th, each on the game positions, having obviously pitted. Meanwhile, this is Willows we're looking at in a pink sandwich. As we're looking at Gal, who's now on the back of Roke. This is the battle for P7. Gamba now in second place, but now, of course, he's got Carl right behind him, as Lopez is himself now going through traffic at this moment in time. And he'll be pitting in a couple of laps' time. Will Franco Lopez, so it's going to be surely a two-stop for him, you would think. Carr now trying to have a go at Gamba as they head towards the penultimate corner. Will he make a move on the inside? He's alongside. Is it enough? And the answer is no, it isn't. So he can't quite make it stick there. And as we look at Daniel Fraser, who's down at the moment 17th place, and he's again was on the one stop, but I think he's look at the amount of fuel he's got, so I think he must have a mechanical failure, and yes, he does. So Daniel Fraser, who was having had such a solid start, has a brake issue, and so he has to pit to get that repaired. So unfortunately, he'll be pretty frustrated at the fact that's happened. Meanwhile, Gal does actually go past George Roke in the Racing Point there, so it took him a while, but it took him so long to get past De Rossi, and finally now he's free of him. Doesn't take him too long to get past Racing Point. Meanwhile, Chung is in the pits. And so he comes out, and actually the McLaren there coming into the pits of De Rossa, and so we'll see what happens here. So De Rossa's actually on a lot of fuel for this stint, actually. 36 laps, and he's it's a bit of a long stop there for McLaren. 9 seconds there. That seemed like an eternity. He was held up for quite a bit there. Meanwhile, Galloway's on the back of David Kupok. That is for 9th. Galloway's now in the pits, and he's going quite long on this stint as well. So it's fascinating to see how this works. Roberto Gamba, who's fairly close to actually running out, but comes in. He's near the back, of course. He got caught up, unfortunately, at the start. Meanwhile, Lopez, who's pitting soon as well. Meanwhile, Carr, who still actually hasn't got past Franco Gamba yet, is heading into the bottom corner. And will he try and make it here? And the answer is no, he still can't. So Carr really struggling at this moment in time to get the move done. He's now right behind the Red Bull of Gamba again on the straight. He's going to make the move, and Gamba is not making it easy for him. And as they head towards the first corner, is there going to be contact? But Gamba really defending hard. Lopez is now in the pits, and he's going to be going quite long on this stint. Very long hold though, 10 seconds. That was even slower than the other stop we just saw. But wow, I don't know why it took him so long in that stop. Well, I suppose they probably added a lot of fuel on, which probably maybe I guess explains it. But still, it seemed very, very long. But nonetheless, Lopez now comes out of the pits, and so we're looking at Joseph Willis, who will be coming into the pits on this lap. So Lopez came out just behind George Roke in the Racing Point. So unfortunately, we won't have to deal with Willows. He'll be pitting next lap, and he just comes out ahead of Andrea Federi in the Alfa Romeo there. And so as we look at Kupok and Galloway, once again battling. Galloway still unable to get through past David Kupok. We're looking at Laura Chung in 11th. There's Byrne, there's Gal, who's just pitted. Field equally spread out as now Felix Sontag is in the pits. And Gambra's actually coming into the pits this lap, and Carr's now trying to make a move once again on the inside. And they make contact! Would you believe it? Gamba is out. Is Carr out as well? Well, he's stuck. I think his wheel's gone, and he is! And Amar Carr, having been stuck behind Gamba ever since he came out of the pits, and he's certainly out now. He's got no wheels on his wagon. But would you believe it? They have collided, and that is just given an open invitation to Franco Lopez, and he sees it as the cars go by. And Willows there, I think, was held up a bit as he came into the pits there. But would you believe what has just happened in this race? And Amar Carr, who looked like he was still leading this race, but Lopez was closing up on him. But that's, again, just almost gifted the race already to Lopez. And as Byrne makes a mistake there, but would you believe that? It's the old pit entry here. We all know it's dodgy here, but wow, Lopez has just been handed the keys to the safe there, and he's going to take everything with him. And you can see that's inevitable to happen. Gamble was coming in, Carl on the inside, just inevitable that was going to happen. And yes, obviously I wasn't sure if Carl was out already, but he was. But then of course he goes into the wall, Gamba then flips him up, and then that was that. But very unfortunate well for Franco Gamba too, who had done such a good job defending from Carr. But then, as I said, the old pit entry here at Austria is known for the incidents that we have had here over the years. And so now we look on board with Lopez, who's trying to get past the racing point of Roque. This is for second place, and he tries it on the inside. Lopez can't quite make it stick there. Surely it's not going to take Lopez too long to get past Roque, because Roque is on the one stop and on a lot of fuel. And oh, we got another car off. It's David Kupok who's off, and that is and he loses a bit of his wing as well. And that is just coming around. That's after the double left-hander, so that's coming through like turn 8 there. He must have made a mistake. And so as we look at him, and yet goes wide onto the gravel and spins off there, right in front actually of his teammate Chatfield there. So he goes by. Fortunately, he doesn't collect anything. And I say, he almost didn't damage his car. He nearly got away with it, but unfortunately, yet damaged his wing as he tried to rejoin. Bit of a quite a scary spin there for David Cooper. This is the onboard view from Chatfield. Just saw it happen right in front of him there. Had to actually back off a little bit just in case something went wrong there. Meanwhile, this is Lopez, who still is stuck behind Roque. Still can't get past him. Yeah, Roque's proving a hard customer at the moment. Lopez doesn't need to do anything stupid. He's actually on the inside now. Has he finally done it? And the answer is yes, he has. He's on the inside and passes Roque for second place. And now Radomoician is up front, and he's currently he's winning this race. And there we go. So it looks like it's going to be Lopez's victory, you would think. And well, I just don't see how Lopez can't not win this race. Meanwhile, the two McLarens battling hard there into the first corner, as well as trying to get past De Ross, and there was a battle in front as well as Federi, I think, has just come out of the pits in front of the two McLarens. So actually, Federi was behind both De Rossa and Willis before the stop, and now he's got ahead. So that's actually a good strategy there from Alfa Romeo, and Federi has jumped the McLarens in the pits. So would you believe it? As we're looking at Miguel Oscar, who's now right behind Evan Byrne, who again is on the one stop and who's struggling a lot for pace at the moment. And as we look at the two McLarens, again they'll be frustrated at the fact that Federi has actually jumped both of them in the stop, and Federi, who's going to be on the fresher tyres than everyone around him, could even get past Gal and Byrne here if Byrne can hold up Gal enough. But Federi is doing quite well. He's very quick at the moment. As Gal, will he try and make a move into the penultimate corner? Federi is there as well, so Gal needs to be careful as Federi goes a little bit wide, has to back off there as they come through the final corner. But Federi's still in the slipstream, but so is Gal of Byrne as they head towards the first corner. Byrne going to defend hard from Gal, or he doesn't actually really try. Gal tries it into the first corner but fails. Meanwhile, Jamie Griffiths now actually going past the McLaren there, who goes very wide. It shows Willis into the first corner and allows Griffiths to go past him there. So yeah, unfortunately for Willis, it's not working out for him so far. Meanwhile, Gal still hasn't been able to get past the Renault, and so we're looking. Meanwhile, this is the battle for third position. That was between Roque and Jake Galloway. Radomoician now will go into the pits, and Lopez will have free reign at the front of the field, and he'll take the lead of this race. And so Moician now comes in, so it's going to be the two-stop for him. So Lopez will be first, Galloway will be second, and Roque is going to be third. So that is the top three at this moment in time. Chatfield has also come into the pits at the end of this lap as well. As Moician, I mean, the crucial thing for Moician is he'll be pretty quick, because I mean he's done a long stint here, and he'll be doing about the same, if not slightly shorter. So you think it would all play to his advantage. So there's Chatfield just coming into the pits now, as you saw. So as we look now, as Gal once again trying again to get past, just hasn't got the speed of the Renault, and so he has to stay behind him yet again. It's not happening for him, and so Gal now in the slipstream of Byrne, but of course now he's got Federi behind him as well, so he needs to be careful here, Gal, but it's not exactly going well for him. And the McLaren of De Rossa right behind Federi, and Federi trying it on Gal into the hairpin there, not able to make it stick. But of course they've got the Williams actually there of Jamie Griffiths, who also could get himself involved in this battle. He's having a good race so far as well. As we're looking at Lopez, who at the moment has got a comfortable lead ahead of Galloway in second. Roque is in third, and Roque's still got a lot of time before he has to go into the pits as well, actually. Because he is definitely going to be doing the one stop. And I suppose Roke has been, you could say he's been kind of lucky with how it's gone so far, but his pace clearly hasn't been all that bad, considering the fact he's still in third position at the moment. Meanwhile, Gal once again will try it on Byrne into the bottom of the corner. Can he do it? The answer is yes, he can. Finally, he gets through past Byrne, and now Byrne's going to be under pressure from Federi behind, and also possibly De Rossa, Griffiths, and Willows. So Byrne is going to be having a fun time. Although he still held him up, actually, as Moitian now trying to go past the Manor there, lapping him. And so now Galloway comes into the pits again, so Roke will be second for the time being. And so as we look now at Federi, right behind the Renault of Byrne, and so as they come towards the bottom of the corner, Federi on the inside, this is surely the move, is it? Yes, he's through. De Rossa going to try and squeeze his way through as well, has to back off there because Byrne made a mistake. And so, but De Rossa gets a fantastic run through the final corner there, and surely he will make a move on the inside of the Irishman. And he will do, as Willows meanwhile trying to get back past Griffiths. And oh, they make contact. He goes into Griffiths. Oh, Willows has just taken Griffiths out of the race. And unfortunately, he has held up his teammate De Rossa in the process. And Griffiths is now blocking the track. He is blocking the track. There's about 4 cars, or 3 in fact, stuck behind him. So the Haas gets through. Of Fraser, he gets through well. Gamba's stuck there. So is Chatfield. And Kupok is coming up to it as well. And oh, Gamba gets damaged, but he gets through. And so does... oh, dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, Griffiths is out, and he's now being pushed along the track by the AlphaTauri of Kupok there. And oh, and there is Lopez that gets involved, and Kupok now also gets damage from that. But oh my word, huge crash, and Jamie Griffiths, who was looking on for a good result today, unfortunately he is going to be getting nothing from this race. So we need to take a look at the replay. Well, we saw obviously what happened, but we'll have a look at it again, I imagine from different angles. But this was the onboard, so Willows was trying to make his way back past Griffiths into the first corner, and Griffiths tried to block him off, and Willows just kind of caught the end of him there, and then of course went into De Rossa. I mean, De Rossa actually himself is actually quite lucky. He didn't get any damage from that, because I mean, yeah, he got hit quite hard. Did De Rossa. The incident between the two, Griffiths and Willows, will be under investigation. This is the onboard with De Rossa, and then I suppose Byrne was the lucky one there. I think he did get hit a little bit by debris, but he was the one who got away scot-free. And then this was Jake Galloway, who came through having to go through the traffic, and actually he was behind Renault Moichin, but thanks to that car there, Galloway goes around the outside and manages to take the place from Moichin. Very smart move there from Jake Galloway, who gets past Moichin, and Moichin himself gets lapped by the Manor as well. So that has not worked out well for Renault Moichin there, but Willows, unfortunately for him, as I said, has to get... well, he was the one who caused the accident, as meanwhile Kupok also going into the pits now. So Roke again into second position, but Galloway is going to be hunting him down. I mean, Roke will be on the 1 stop, Galloway on the 2 stop, so we'll see how that works out for them. But as we're looking now at Laura Chung coming in towards the first corner, Roberta Gamba now trying to get past Amelia Wilson here. This is the battle for P16, and Roberta Gamba is through past the Manor. I mean, that's not exactly a big thing, you'd say. So as we're looking now at the Manor behind Roberta Gamba, meanwhile we're looking at Roberta Gamba's teammate Laura Chung in third, having kind of a race of her own really, but she's kept herself out of trouble, you'd say. But unfortunately for her, she's going to have a very quick Jake Galloway right behind her at this moment in time. So the gap Lopez to Rogue at the moment is just 12 seconds, but it's going to go up because Lopez is definitely a lot quicker than Rogue at this point in time, and Galloway is going to be passing Chung soon, you would think. I mean, you can see how much he's gaining. I wonder if right behind her. Oh yeah, I mean, just look at how much more speed he carried through the final 2 corners there behind Laura Chung, and I think this is going to be a pretty simple move this for Jake Galloway. He's on the inside of the Ferrari, and he's on the inside, and this is third position for Jake Galloway, just like that. Very simple. So now he'll go after George Roke in second place, although Roke actually is going to be pitting fairly soon. Evan Byrne, meanwhile, is coming into the pits for Renault. He's one of the other ones that's on the 1 stop, although he's not been particularly quick during this race. Meanwhile, Willows trying to recover positions. He's behind Dudu Kirby in the Haas here, and he's now going to make a move on the inside of the Brazilian, coming into the bottom of the corner. This is an easy move, so Willows now up to P12. Now try and go after Evan Byrne ahead of him in 11th. So yeah, again, at the moment, Roke is, I think, one of the only drivers yet to make a stop in this race in second position, but he will pit soon, you would think. So Byrne, of course, is going to be going to the end, and actually Willows is going to come out, is coming around the first corner. He's just behind him, but look at the speed that Willows is going to have off the corner now that Byrne has just come out of the pits. But will Byrne stay in front? Willows is going to have a go on the inside, and Willows, is he going to make the move? And the answer is no, he's not. So Byrne does just get out in front of Joseph Willows there, but these two I imagine will probably have a battle. Meanwhile, Roke will be pitting either next lap or the lap after. The gap to Galloway is about 7 seconds. So of course, Galloway will get back in front. I think Galloway, though, does he have to stop again? I couldn't remember if he has to stop again or not. Not entirely sure, but nonetheless, I mean, Galloway did pit earlier, so I'm pretty sure he will have to pit again. So it could be an interesting battle there for second place between those two. But Roke, as I said, is the last driver to pit in this race, and he's done I'd say a solid stint. And yes, actually, Galloway will have to pit once more anyway. But at the moment, he's much quicker than Roke, so it will be interesting to see what happens. I suppose once Roke pits and then once Galloway pits, which will be in about 15 laps or so. And so now we're looking at Laura Chung, who's battling with Roland Moitin here. This is for P4. Moitin trying to move on the inside there, but failing to get past the Ferrari. Meanwhile, Federi, I think, has got past Miklas Gau, actually. You can see on the graphic there. So there's a move in the order that we haven't seen. Miklas Gau, and oh, that's why he's moved past him, because Gal's got a problem. He's got a mechanical failure. So that explains why Miklas Gau's already in. Well, yep, that's his race over, and the engine has blown. So Miklas Gau is unfortunately out of the Austrian Grand Prix, and after winning the last round in France, unfortunately, it's all wasn't really a particularly good race for Gal anyway. I don't think he would have got, well, he certainly wouldn't have got podium, top 5, I don't know. He would have got points, that's it, I think, really. I don't think he would have got much more than that. But, well, he's now getting officially a big fat 0. So, yeah, it's not his weekend, unfortunately, considering how well it went in Paul Ricard. But that is unfortunately the way things go. One weekend you can have a good race, next weekend you can have an absolute stinker. I mean, Laura Chung was the master of that last season. She'd have one race where she'd be unbelievable. The next race she'd have a total dud. Meanwhile, Roke has now finally come into the pits for his one and only stop. In the meantime, that Gal was retiring with his problem. And so there it was. It happened, actually. I didn't see it. Yes, the smoke had already come up there. So, yeah, that is very unfortunate there for the Hungarians. So he said will be out of this race. He'll be getting no points. And, yeah, well, and for Red Bull as well, of course. Let's not forget, this is Red Bull's home race, and both Red Bulls are out. So, yeah, that's not good, particularly. Meanwhile, this is the battle for now what is third place, because I believe Roke has come out. Where's Roke come out and stuff? Has he come out ahead? I'm not sure where he's come out of the pits. Oh, there's Roke, actually. He's just come out down there in P6. So P6 for Roke, but he'll be going to the end. So at the moment, he'll still be getting points on the board, and he'll be getting a lot of points at this moment in time. Still 6 is a decent result. But we'll see. Because everyone else has to pit, really, so Roke will move ahead of a lot of drivers. I mean, he could still finish third, Roke. It's still a possibility. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne making a mistake into the final corner. That's just given the open door to Willows to overtake him for 10th place for the final point spot there. And so he's now through up into 10th place. The Englishman passing the Irishman there on the circuit. So that is not what Byrne would have wanted. But he's just, again, Byrne's just had a pretty horrible race, really, you have to say. Not compared to Roke, who's done okay on his stint. Byrne's definitely struggled throughout. Meanwhile, now Gabriel Gomez battling, trying to unlap himself past Jake Galloway there. As we're looking now at Roke, who's trying to go past traffic, and Kupok is there too. And Kupok manages to get past Wilson for position for P16 there, so good job. And Kupok might even try and go after George Roke, possibly, maybe to unlap himself there. Meanwhile, this is Felix Sontag trying to get past Dudu Kirby. This is for the 12th position, and so Sontag is through on the inside. Pretty simple, and he's through. And so there's Gomez behind him there. Meanwhile, the two Ferraris are set to be battling, although of course Roberto Gamba is a lap down, so he doesn't really need to battle the teammate that is Laura Chung, but looks like he might try and do it anyway. So, as we're looking now at Roberto Gamba, who is trying to unlap himself past Laura Chung, and Roberto Gamba is not going to the end, actually, so both Ferrari drivers, I think, will have to pit one more time. But this is not what they need to be doing at this moment in time. They do not need to be battling like this. So as we look now at Renault Moichin, who is in 3rd position. So, as there's Lopez, who at the moment is in a very, very comfortable lead. And it looks like it is going to be his victory. I mean, there's still plenty of time to go, so it is certainly not over yet. But meanwhile, Gomez trying to get past Kirby, coming through the final couple of corners here. Now in the slipstream of his fellow Brazilians. They're now heading towards the first corner. Gomez on the inside of Kirby. This is for 13th, and this will be, I think, an easy move. And Gomez makes it through past the Alfa Romeo there. Lopez again up front, meanwhile has got nearly a pit stop ahead gap of Jake Galloway in 2nd, and now Federi is going past the slower car of Roberto Gamba. Now Laura Chung will be under pressure from Federi behind, who himself actually, let's just say Federi has also had a fantastic race so far, running in the points in an Alfa Romeo, which is not, well, it's certainly not the fastest car. It's probably the third worst car, I think, maybe 4th, but it's certainly not it's certainly not as good as the Ferraris. But meanwhile, that was Kupok, who was making a little mistake coming through coming through turn 2 there, but he carries on. But again, he obviously got damaged from when he spun off by himself, which has not helped him in this race. Meanwhile, actually, Daniel Fraser, let's say he's still in 8th position, so Daniel Fraser still actually having a pretty solid race, considering, I mean, after the start, he was faded away a bit, but he's done pretty well, obviously, because he had that mechanical problem. More specifically, it was a brake issue. Meanwhile, for Federi in a Ferrari sandwich, he's got Roberto Gamba right behind him, but he's trying to get past Laura Chung. This is for position. This is 4P4, and Federi on the inside of Chung. Is he going to make it stick? And he does make it past her. And Laura Chung gets a pretty bad run off the corner, but meanwhile, Roque actually now laps Roberto Gamba, and that's going to allow George Roque to possibly overtake Chung here, because of course he should pit it. He doesn't have to pit again. Laura Chung does, but Chung struggling at the moment for pace and defending from Roque into the corner there, so Roque might even have an opportunity to get through here. He's got a great run through the corner there, Roque. He's in the slipstream, might even try and get past Laura Chung coming into turn 3. Can he make it stick? And the answer is no, he can't, and there's almost contact. And that was very, very close. And yeah, that was so he tried to make it through there, Roque, and failed. But of course, Roberto Gamba is also quicker than Laura Chung, which is interesting. But of course, he can't overtake because otherwise it would affect him. But at the moment, Roque is so much quicker, having pitted a few laps ago, and Roque's on the inside of Chung. Has he got enough? And the answer is no, not quite. And oh my word, and that was very close. He had Roberto Gamba alongside there, and Roque almost going into the side of the Italian. And wow, look how close that was. And that could have gone terribly, terribly wrong. Unfortunately, it didn't. Meanwhile, Lopez again, we're looking at him out front as we. Oh my word! Oh, and that could have gone terribly wrong. That was Fraser trying to go into the pits there and having a bit of contact with the car there. That was Chris Chatfield. And they said they would have been having a lot of chat after the race if they had collided at that pit entry. Meanwhile, Roque now trying once again to get past Laura Chung, but she's really defending hard from the racing point. And she is not letting him through without a fight, that is for sure. So he tried there, so he's going to try obviously coming into the penultimate corner, you would think. I mean, Galloway, the gap to Lopez is coming down, actually. It was 18 seconds, coming down to about 15, but I still don't think Galloway is any threat to Lopez. Meanwhile, Roque trying once again into the penultimate corner. Can he do it this time? The answer is yes, he can. No, he can't. And so he stays behind, and so Roque will try once again to get past Laura Chung, trying to make it as difficult as possible. She is for Roque, and now Roque coming through the first corner, and Chung goes wide, and now finally Roque is through up into P5. So that's not good for Laura Chung, and now Roberto Gamba there trying to unlap himself, and he's got the AlphaTauri there as well. And will Roberto Gamba try and unlap himself? And he does, I think. Yes, he does unlap himself past Roque, but crucially now Roque will then pass him again coming down the straight. So it's going to be, again, just not what Roberto Gamba needed to do. And so he's going to be on the inside of Roberto Gamba, although will Roberto Gamba stay in front? And the answer is yes, he does. but Roke is going to be a lot quicker. So yeah, that's not what he what he needs really, but just needs to get to the end because of course he's on the one stop and he's now going to lap Roberto Gamba coming through the left-hander here. He does. That will allow the AlphaTauri behind to possibly have a go. Q-Pock, he's in the slipstream. He's now going to have a go at Roberto Gamba, possibly. No, not quite. And so, yeah, now Chatfield actually comes into the pits for AlphaTauri. This is going to be his final stop of the race. So we've got less than 20 laps to go of the Austrian Grand Prix, and it's been, once again, a pretty enthralling race. Joseph Willows will receive a 15-second time penalty for causing the incident with Jamie Griffiths. I was actually wondering what was going to happen about that, because we haven't heard anything about that since it happened. But a penalty has now been given, and I think that's probably fair enough. I mean, maybe I would have only given him a 10, but I think he did deserve, I think, a penalty for that, Willows, for that incident. So meanwhile, Chatfield, a 7.7 second stop. Fraser now back into the points. Moichin in third, coming into the pits, and so was Felix Sontag, and I think for Dairy as well. So a number of drivers coming into the pits on this lap for their final stops of the race. These are all obviously guys that are on the 2-stop. And so, as we look at Moichin coming through into the pits, and into his pit stall he comes, there we go. And he's in. And so he changes all 4 tyres, here we are. And so there's the Alfa Romeo for Dairy just coming in front as well. Not too much of a hold up. And the Ferrari actually as well of Laura Chung. So everyone, all these guys coming in at the same time. So it's going to be all about their pace on track now. De Rossa also in, so every one of these guys in on the same lap. So maybe they've found the cliff to their tyres. But of course, it's going to be interesting what's going to happen with them and George Roke, because Roke obviously is on the 1-stop. He's going to be going to the end. I wonder how he'll manage to make his tyres last. But at the moment, the order is still Lopez in first, Galloway is second, and Roke is in third. And I wonder if that's how it will stay until the end. There's just over 15 laps to go of this race, and De Rossa, again, having a very slow stop, over 10 seconds there, so that was a very slow stop there for the McLaren. So that's not going to do good for De Rossa's chances of getting some decent points. He'll still be in the points, although Chris Chatfield might overtake him because he's just come across the lines. This could be close. Does De Rossa still stay ahead of Chatfield? The answer is just about, and the other Alpha there of Gomez is going to be pitting this lap too. So as we're looking at Federi right now, running in a pretty solid P5, and that's actually where he's going to finish Federi, because wow, that, of course Federi is going to the end. So we're looking at Roke at the moment, who's running in third. Will Moichin be able to close on him for that final podium spot is going to be the big question. And so looking now at the rest of the field coming through, still 16 cars left in this race. No, I lied, 17 cars. I mean, I didn't even know where Wilson is on the track. I didn't even know she was still racing, really. But now Jake Galloway has actually just come into the pits for his final stop. And oh, hang on. And oh no, so I thought someone had damaged. Then I panicked for a brief second. Never mind. But Galloway now does come in for his final stop of the race, and changes all 4 tyres. And I think he'll still come up comfortably ahead of Roke. So Jake Galloway set to be on for just his 2nd podium in his OC career, but in his 1st season. So yeah, so Galloway now comes out of the pits, and Roke's only just coming around the final corner now. So Galloway is comfortably in front of Roke, so he'll stay in 2nd, as Roke only just coming across the line now. Meanwhile, Franco Lopez is now coming in for his final stop of the race, and he'll come out comfortably ahead of Jake Galloway in 2nd, who's only just about halfway around the lap at this moment in time. Meanwhile, Wilson trying to unlap herself past Joseph Willows, and again we've seen, and we'll see how that works out for her. Lopez now coming out of the pits, and he'll retain the lead pretty comfortably. Jake Galloway just coming around the final couple of corners now, so it's as Willows actually goes a bit wide there, as Wilson now does unlap herself, and Willows, who will be going into the pits on this lap. So yeah, as Lopez now comes out of the pits, and there's Galloway. Actually, it was slightly closer, I guess, than I thought, but again, Lopez is still out in front, and yeah, so it will be a pretty comfortable lead that Lopez will extend it once he finally gets through all this traffic, you would think. Because Galloway is just never going to be able to close the gap to Lopez with both the cars on fresh tyres, as the Mercedes is obviously the best car. So at the moment, Roke's still running in third. I don't know how far Moichin's away. It doesn't look to be anywhere near close. I mean, Moichin's actually really quite far back. Actually, doesn't seem to be making much of inroads on Roke for third here. So I think Roke's third place actually might be secure, which is kind of surprising. I thought the guys behind would close up on Roke a lot more than they are, but nonetheless, he's still doing a good job. Moichin's still running in a solid P4. It'll still be a good result for them, though. Racing Point, third and fourth place finishes. Will, as I said, is in for his final stop of the race. So as we're looking through at Moichin trying to get through this traffic here, getting through the AlphaTauri, which he does, gets past David Kubok, who actually might try and even unlap himself coming into the penultimate corner. Would he do it? The answer is no, he doesn't, which is of course a good thing, because again, doesn't need to do it. As we're looking at Galloway there in a comfortable second position at the moment. The gap to Moichin actually is about 17 seconds. That's quite big. As Lopez now goes past some of the lap traffic there, and he almost a little mistake there, does Lopez, as he goes past, I think that was Evan Byrne, I believe. So fortunately no harm done, as Lopez now heading towards the final couple of corners. He was up on his lap, but he made that slight mistake while lapping the Renault there. But a battle brewing, this is, it looks like, for P7. This is between Byrne and Fraser, and Byrne, who's not been particularly quick on these tyres, and Fraser trying to get his first ever points in the OC. Fraser trying on the inside into turn 1. Can he make it stick? And the answer is no, as Byrne goes a little bit wide over the curbs, but Fraser trying to get through here. He's just about alongside, but De Rossa's there, and actually De Rossa goes through past Fraser, who was blocked off there. De Rossa tries to get back past, but fails, and Fraser tries and makes contact. He takes out Evan Byrne, and Fraser goes into De Rossa, who takes out Evan Byrne, and Fraser, no, he hasn't got damage. De Rossa has, though, and now that's Chris Chatfield, who's now going through past him as well, who's got no damage. De Rossa's obviously lost his wing, coming into the corner, and no! And would you believe it, it's Jake Galloway in second place, and Jake Galloway in second place has gone into Fraser and taken him out. And would you believe it, Fraser, who was set to get his first points of the season in the OC, is going to be getting absolutely nothing. So Evan Byrne is out, and so is Daniel Fraser, but for Jake Galloway as well, damaged his front wing. He was set to take a comfortable second, and so we're going to have a whole replay of what happened there. So Fraser tried to get past Byrne and got a terrible run through the corner. De Rossa said thank you very much and took the place back. And then Fraser tried it, just went right into the back of De Rossa. A pretty terrible move there by Fraser. Probably frustrated at the fact that De Rossa had done him there. And then, of course, De Rossa had damage coming onto the front straight, and Fraser had Chris Chatfield going alongside. Chatfield got past both of them. And then Fraser gets hit from behind by Jake Galloway, who somehow, Fraser doesn't go into the back of Chatfield. And, oh, dear me, and Jake Galloway was just in the wrong place at exactly the wrong time there. I mean, you could say as well probably maybe it spooked, I suppose, Fraser a little bit, and then, of course, Galloway ran. I mean, Galloway was just in the wrong place, wrong time, simple as that, one of them things. And again, this is the replay. I mean, Fraser does brake, but De Rossa had already moved over, but Fraser was going way too fast, goes into De Rossa himself, then can't stop his car, and then cannons into the back of Evan Byrne and eliminates him out of the race. So both Renaults involved in this with just 9 laps to go. What a dramatic ending to this race it has been. But Lopez, meanwhile, has just set the fastest lap of the race, 104.0. So, well, if he wasn't going to take a couple of victory before, he is certainly now. So Galloway is in the pits from second place, and I think Roke actually might even get past him here. And yeah, Roke's already got to the line, so Roke has already taken second place. Galloway's only just getting his tyres and wing replaced. So Roke might have somehow, from absolutely nowhere, have snatched P2 away here. But, I don't know, but let's not forget though, I mean, was it 8 laps to go? Galloway's going to be on fresher tyres. He can absolutely go for it, because he's going to have no threat from anyone else behind, although if he comes ahead of, if Moichin's there, would he come ahead of Moichin? This could be very important for Galloway, and crucially he does. So, I mean, even though Roke is very far ahead, Galloway could easily, he'll catch him, but will he be able to catch him in time? He'll be so much quicker than Roke, because he's going to have no threat from behind by Moichin, who clearly just doesn't have the pace on this stint. As meanwhile, Sonto goes a bit wide there, and De Rossa now takes P9 away from him, and so Sonto down to P10 there. But wow, again, Galloway, I thought he was going to finish second, but it'll still certainly looks like he'll get a podium. But can he get to Roke and get P2 away from him? I mean, yeah, it would be unfortunate for Galloway to lose P2. He definitely deserved it. I mean, Roke probably, you could say he deserved the podium, has been a little bit lucky. And oh, Kupok makes a mistake at the first corner and loses 2 places there to Gomez and to Dudu Kirby, and now gets lapped by the Ferrari there of Laura Chung for 6th place there. So meanwhile, we're now on the final lap of the race, and Franco Lopez set to take victory here in the Austrian Grand Prix, and it was amazing just the pace he had from 10th on the grid. I mean, you could say, would he have still won if Carr was in? And honestly, I think Lopez would have done. I really think he would have done. And meanwhile, Fraser received a 5-place grid penalty for causing the incident with DeRosa and Burns, so that will happen at the next race at Silverstone. But as I was saying with Lopez, I think even with if Carr was in, I think Lopez would still be winning this. So as Chatfield receives a 10-place time penalty for causing the incident with Fraser and Galloway. But nonetheless, Lopez, you could say, I think, has deserved the win today. And of course, you could say he was lucky with Carr going out, but I think he would have won this regardless. And so he could take a victory and become a double winner here at the Austrian Grand Prix and extend his championship lead. And Franco Lopez comes around the final corner and wins the Austrian Grand Prix. He comes across the line, the checkered flag is out, and in 1 hour 18 minutes he wins the race. And meanwhile, look at the rest of the field. There's Wilson 15th, there's Chatfield in 7th. I wonder what's going to happen actually in the battle for second, because I saw the gap. It was down to less than a second, so Galloway has caught Roke, but can he overtake him before the line? Is going to be interesting to see. Chatfield comes across the line in 7th. Willows will come across the line in 8th. The gap just a single 10th between Roke and Galloway for second place. So Willows has come across the line in 8th, and here it is, and oh! Roke, I think, ran a bit wide there coming around the final corner, but he is going to hold on for second place. And he will take second, and Galloway will take third, his second podium, but he'll be frustrated. It was surely going to be his if he hadn't had that incident into Fraser. But Galloway will still take his second podium in his OC career, but he will be frustrated that it was not second. DeRosa, P9, Federi, shout out to him as well. Fantastic performance in 5th place, only a couple of seconds off Moichin as well. For 4th position, so Moichin just had no pace at all for that entire second stint. Gomez will take 11th. He'll just miss out on the points, and that is your race over. And that was a pretty crazy ending, you could say, to this race. But Franco Lopez winning ahead of George Roke in second, who just beats Jake Galloway to the line for second, but he'll take a second podium finish in the OC. Red Emotion 4th, Andrea Federi 5th, last car on the lead lap. Laura Chung 6th, with Chris Chatfield and Joseph Willis remaining 7th and 8th despite their 2 penalties. DeRosa in 9th. Felix Sontag 10th, Gabriel Gomez 11th, with Franco Lopez getting the extra point for the fastest lap as well at 104.041. And the rest of the finishes as follows: Dudu Kirby, David Kupok, Roberto Gamba, and Emily Wilson all 2 laps down, with Daniel Fraser, Evan Byrne, Nicholas Gow, Jimmy Griffiths, Franco Gamba, Omar Carr, and Rosetta Martin as the drivers who did not finish this race. Whew, can take a breath now. So, let's take a look at the drivers and constructor standings, and Franco Lopez. I mean, look at that gap. Nearly almost 70 points, that gap. Between Lopez and Carr. I mean, you could say is championship over? I would say not yet. Other movements in the order include Galloway moving up into the top 5 ahead of Franco Gamba in 6th, Laura Chung moving up into the top 10 with her points finish as well. Other movements including Chris Chapman moving ahead of Willows into 13th, Andrea Federi with his top 5 finish moving in front of his teammate Gomez. Sontag in 17th with Griffiths, Wilson, Martinez, Kirby and Fraser, the young drivers yet to score a point, but for Fraser he'll be bitterly disappointed as that he was not able to get points today. I mean, he was set to get some, but unfortunately it didn't happen. Meanwhile, Mercedes, you could say, are very, very far ahead of Red Bull in 2nd place, Racing Point in 3rd, Renault 4th, McLaren 5th, Ferrari moving above AlphaTauri into 6th place, Alfa Romeo 8th, Williams in 9th, and Manor and Haas, the 2 teams, of course, who've yet to score a point this season. And after that, the driver of the day was given to Andrea Federi for a fantastic drive to P5, and I think that is thoroughly deserved for him. And so there we go. That was the Austrian Grand Prix, entertaining as always, and it always is the Red Bull Ring. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you for the next round, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Don't forget to, as usual, give a like on the video. Check out our links in the description. Check out our Twitter, our Wiki, our Discord. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. We will see you there.